Good morning. Thank you for showing up today, not just physically, but mentally, because showing up is the easy part. The hard part is locking in. And that's exactly why we're here. We're here to lock in. Not just for today, not just for this event, but for our own lives, for our struggles, for our missions, for our future selves. In 2025, distractions are everywhere. Notifications, trends, dopamine hits, all designed to pull you away from your purpose. But locking in means tuning all that out and tuning into the voice inside you, the one you've probably been ignoring. Most people never come close to reaching their true potential because they quit too early. David Goggins calls this the 40% rule. The idea that when you think you're done, when your mind is screaming at you to stop, you're only at 40% of your capacity. Think about that for a second. Most people are walking around living at less than half of what they're capable of. The moment discomfort kicks in, most tap out. Their bodies ache a little, their minds get tired, and they say, I can't do it. But the reality is, they still have more than half left in the tank. It's not the body that stops you, it's the mind. The body is built to endure far more than we give it credit for. But the mind pulls the emergency brake way too soon. Why? Because pain is uncomfortable, uncertainty is scary, and effort is inconvenient. The 40% rule is not some motivational quote, it's a reality check. If you've ever run a mile and thought you couldn't take another step, but somehow found the energy to sprint the last 100 meters, you've experienced it. If you've ever worked on a project and felt you had nothing left, but under a tight deadline, you somehow pulled off 2 more hours of focused work, you've experienced it. The problem isn't capability, it's belief. People have convinced themselves that discomfort equals failure. But Goggins teaches us that discomfort is just the starting line. That feeling of I can't do this is not a sign you should stop. It's proof you are just getting started. Locking in is the art of going beyond that 40%. It's refusing to negotiate with the weaker voice inside your head. Everyone has that voice, the one that says, it's okay, you've done enough, you deserve to quit. But champions, leaders, and the uncommon individuals don't entertain that voice. They acknowledge it, but they don't obey it. When you lock in, you tell yourself, we're not leaving at 40%. We're not leaving at 50% or even 80%. We're staying until the job is done. It's not a matter of talent or luck. It's pure commitment and willpower. In life, whether it's fitness, business, relationships, or personal growth, most people pull up short because they think they've hit their limit. But their limit is usually just a feeling, not a fact. Your body will adapt, your mind will strengthen, and your perspective will shift. But only if you push past the point where most people stop. This is where greatness lives. Beyond the 40%, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is not genetics or circumstance. It's the ability to stay locked in when others would quit. Once you understand this rule, you can no longer play the victim. You can no longer blame your past, your parents, your boss, or society. The truth is, you've been living at 40%, and the rest is still available to you. The question is, are you willing to suffer for it? Because getting past the 40% requires pain. It requires you to be uncomfortable on purpose. It requires you to shut up the voice that tells you to slow down. It's not easy, but it is simple. Show up. Stay in the fight. Lock in. Push until you see what you're truly capable of. That's where you find the best version of yourself, and that version is waiting just beyond your fake limits. In life, we are often taught to avoid pain, to search for comfort and to find the path of least resistance. From a young age, we are told that struggle is something to run from, not toward. But David Goggins flips that idea on its head. He teaches that the very thing we avoid is the exact thing we need. The suffering, the struggle, the pain, it is not the enemy, it is the path. When you hear Goggins say, embrace the suck, he is not speaking in metaphor. He means it literally. If it hurts, good. If it's hard, good. If you want to quit, good, because you're exactly where you're supposed to be. In fact, you won't grow until you learn to seek discomfort rather than hide from it. The problem is most people have a broken relationship with pain. We think discomfort is a signal to stop. The moment life gets inconvenient, we pull back. The moment the workout gets tough, we quit. The moment the project demands more than we expected, we procrastinate. The truth is, the suck is always going to show up in relationships, careers, health, and life itself. The difference between the ones who break through and the ones who stay stuck is simple. Those who break through don't avoid the suck. They embrace it. They welcome it. They expect it. Goggins says suffering is the foundation of all growth because when you suffer voluntarily, you control it. You step into the fire, and each time you survive it, you become more. The suck isn't just pain for the sake of pain. It's the teacher. The suck is what reveals your weaknesses, exposes your excuses, and forces you to confront your limitations. When you lean into it, you discover what most people never will, that the human body and mind are far more capable than we realize. People don't break because of the actual suffering. They break because they've never practiced enduring it. Like a muscle that's never been trained, their tolerance for discomfort is weak. But once you start facing it regularly, once you embrace it instead of hiding from it, you build resilience. You callous your mind. The pain doesn't go away, you just get stronger. In every tough moment, you will hear that small voice inside you that will say, this is too much. I can't handle this, or maybe I'll try again tomorrow. And in that exact moment, you have a choice. Will you lock in and push forward, or will you retreat back to comfort, knowing deep down you took the easy way out again? Goggins talks about the satisfaction that comes not from winning a trophy, but from knowing you didn't quit on yourself when things got hard. That's the real win. That's the reward you don't get if you avoid the suck. The people who achieve greatness, whether it's in athletics, business, personal development, or even relationships, are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who showed up day after day when it hurt, when they were tired, when they doubted themselves and still locked in. They are the ones who stared suffering in the face and said, bring it on. When you embrace the suck, you change. You become someone who is not easily broken. Someone who doesn't fold when life punches you in the mouth. Someone who stays locked in when others crumble. If you want to achieve something uncommon in your life, you must go through the uncommon process of embracing pain. The only way out is through. That's the price you pay for unlocking your full potential. And when you get to the other side, you'll realize the pain wasn't your enemy. It was your greatest ally. The suck you've been avoiding is the key you've been looking for all along. Callousing your mind is one of the most powerful concepts David Goggins teaches, and yet most people completely miss its importance. We all understand how calluses form on our hands or feet through friction, repetition, and hard work. The more we expose our skin to resistance, the tougher it gets. Eventually, the pain that once made us wince becomes tolerable. Over time, it even disappears. The exact same thing applies to your mind, but few ever apply it. Goggins teaches that life is designed to rub against you. It's meant to be hard, unpredictable, and full of setbacks. Most people spend their whole lives trying to avoid these rough edges. They try to stay comfortable, avoid pain, dodge failure, and escape pressure. But in doing so, They never give themselves the chance to develop mental calluses. When life gets tough, people who haven't calloused their minds crack under pressure. The first time life gets heavy, they fold. Why? Because they never exposed themselves to voluntary hardship. They never built up the resistance. Goggin says the way you strengthen your mind is exactly the same as you strengthen your body, through repetition. You don't get mentally tough by reading motivational quotes, listening to podcasts, or hoping life gets easier. You get mentally tough by doing hard things over and over until you adapt. You show up every day, even when you don't want to. You endure the discomfort again and again until it becomes your new normal. That's how mental calluses form. This isn't about becoming emotionless or heartless. It's about becoming resilient. Most people misunderstand toughness. They think it means you don't feel pain. That's wrong. Goggins feels pain just like everyone else. The difference is he's trained his mind to accept it, process it, and keep moving through it. Mental callousing is about building the ability to feel discomfort and not flinch, to stand in the storm without running, to keep pushing when every part of you wants to quit. And the only way you build that ability is through exposure. You deliberately put yourself in situations where you are stretched, where you fail, where you hurt, and where you struggle. There's no shortcut. No app, no hack, no podcast is going to callous your mind. Only you, through direct action, can do that. Goggins is very clear about this. You have to suffer voluntarily. You have to put yourself into situations where you want to quit and decide not to. Over time, you will notice that the things that once broke you no longer have the same power. Where you used to give up, you now push through. Where you used to fear discomfort, you now embrace it as part of the process. That's the mental armor you are building. That is the callus. People who never take the time to callous their minds will always be slaves to their emotions. The moment adversity shows up, they will crumble. They'll look for excuses, they'll blame others, and they'll avoid responsibility. On the other hand, those who have calloused their minds will step up, stay locked in, and handle whatever is in front of them because they've seen worse. They've put themselves through worse on purpose. They've gone out and found the friction when everyone else avoided it. Callousing your mind isn't about becoming superhuman. It's about becoming prepared. It's about refusing to be fragile. Life is hard, and that will never change. But you can change. You can toughen up. You can make sure that the next time life hits you, you're ready for it. The calloused mind is what gives you that edge. It's what allows you to stay locked in when others are breaking down. It's not optional if you want to live a life of impact. It's required. The pain you endure today is the strength you'll have tomorrow. The accountability mirror is one of the most honest and uncomfortable tools David Goggins ever introduced, and yet it might be the most powerful. In Goggins' early days, before he became a Navy SEAL, an ultramarathon runner, or a symbol of mental toughness, he was overweight, undisciplined, and full of excuses. He used to lie to himself daily, convincing himself that his failures weren't his fault, that life was unfair, and that somehow things would magically get better. Then he started facing himself. Literally, he stood in front of the mirror and called out the truth. No filters, no sugarcoating, no lies. He faced reality for what it was. That mirror didn't just show his reflection, it exposed who he really was, and it forced him to take ownership of his situation. That was the first step toward transformation. The accountability mirror is brutal because it demands you to drop all your excuses. There's no one else to blame when you're staring directly at yourself. You can't hide behind your parents, your circumstances, your genetics, or your boss. It's just you, raw and exposed. Most people can't do this. They avoid mirrors, not just physically, but mentally. They don't want to confront the truth about their laziness, their lack of discipline, their procrastination, or their bad habits. But Goggins teaches that until you take ownership of where you are, you'll never get where you want to go. The accountability mirror isn't about shaming yourself. It's about getting real. You have to identify what's holding you back. And most of the time, it's you. This tool is not a one-time thing. It's a daily practice. Every single day, you should be looking at yourself in the mirror and asking, did I give everything I had today? Where did I take the easy way out? What am I avoiding right now? The answers may not always feel good, but they are necessary. Growth never comes from comfort. It comes from honest self-reflection and the courage to change what needs changing. The accountability mirror gives you the truth, and the truth gives you power. Power to change, power to improve, and power to stay locked in when life tests you. Most people stay stuck because they refuse to admit they are the problem. They don't want to own their situation. They blame everything except the person staring back at them. Goggins didn't lose 100 pounds in 3 months or become a Navy SEAL by accident. It happened because every single day he told himself the truth, even when it hurt. He faced his insecurities, his weaknesses, his failures, and instead of running from them, he attacked them. He wrote down sticky notes of everything he needed to improve and plastered them around the mirror. Every morning, he couldn't escape them. They stared right back at him, forcing him to either rise or stay the same. Locking in starts with accountability. You can't stay focused on your goals if you're lying to yourself about your effort, your discipline, or your excuses. You have to look in the mirror and take full responsibility for where you are and where you're headed. That's the foundation. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to fix it for you. It's you versus you every single day. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you can get to work. The accountability mirror is uncomfortable at first, but over time, it becomes your greatest ally. It will keep you honest. It will push you when you start to slip. It will make sure you don't lower your standards when no one else is watching. The truth might hurt, but it's also the only thing that will set you free. Face the mirror, own your flaws, accept your responsibility, and lock in. That's how you build the unbreakable mindset Goggins lives by.